Hello everyone, my name is Kartikeya. In this video, I am going to revise time and value of supply. This chapter roughly speaks about the what is the time for which supply is happened on both goods and services, and what is the value of such supply, and inclusions and exclusions from such value and discounts of such value. And also in this chapter we cover only the time of supply of goods and services and value of supply of goods and services to unrelated persons with price as the sole consideration. Topic: time of supply is calculated on goods and services. Each of these heads are subdivided into four categories. They are time of supply under forward charge, and time of supply under reverse charge, and time of supply in case of vouchers, and last one is residual cases, which means other than these three categories. And let's see the time of supply of goods under forward charge. It shall be the earlier of the date of issue of invoice or the last date of issue of invoice under section 31, which is discussed in later, and the next date is which payment is recorded in the books of account of the supplier, or the date on which payment is credited to the supplier bank account. Simply it is the earlier of date of issue of invoice. If not issue of invoice, the last date of issue prescribed under section 31 or date on payment is credited or recorded in the books of account. And now let's see the time limit for issuance of invoice under section 31. In general cases, before or at the time of removal of goods from the place or delivery of goods or making goods available to the recipient is also considered here, and invoice should be raised. In case of continuous supply of goods, invoice should be issued before or at periodical statement. In case of sale or return basis, invoice should be issued before or at the time of supply, which is discussed in earlier, or 6 months from the date of removal of goods, whichever is earlier. And here a point, which is if we received the payment from the customer in excess of the amount which is in the invoice up to 1000 rupees only, and if you receive more than 1000, the provision shall not be applied, then supplier can choose the date as the time of supply for only such excess value. And the next one is time of supply of goods under reverse charge. It shall be the earlier of three things: the date on which goods received, and the date on which payment is recorded or credited to the supplier account, and the last one is very important, which is 31st day from the date of issue of invoice or the date immediately following 30 days, which means we should not take the following day of date of issuance of invoice. And the third one is time of supply of vouchers exchangeable for goods. This is very simple, that if supply is identifiable at the time of issuance of voucher, that is only particular item can be redeemed, then supply will be date of issuance of voucher. And if it is not identifiable at the time of redeemable, it shall be the date of redemption of voucher. And the last one is time of supply in residual cases. It means it cannot be identifiable in the above cases, then supply will be the date on which periodical return is required to be filed, and in other cases date on which GST is paid. And we have some points. They are tax on supply in case of enhancement in value on account of interest or late fee for delayed of consideration, that supplier will be date on which the supplier receives such additional value. And the next point is in case of advance payment, GST is not payable only in the case of supply of goods under forward charge, but in case of reverse charge, GST is payable at the time of recipient of such advance. And next we move to the time of supply of services under forward charge. It is very simple, that the invoice issued within the time specified under section 31, that is earlier of date of invoice or date of receipt of payment. If invoice is not issued within the time specified under section 31, time of supply will be earlier of date of provision of service or date of receipt of payment. And even we cannot determine the time of supply, it is the date on which recipient of services shows in the books of account. And now let us know the what is the time limit for issuance of invoice specified under section 31. It is invoice to be issued either before the provision of services or within the 30 days from the provision of services. If it is a banking company or insurance company or non-banking financial company, it should be issued within 45 days from the date of supply of service. And in case of continuous supply of services, it should be issued on or before the date of payment, or either before or at the time of receipt of payment. And the next topic is time of supply of services under reverse charge. It is also earlier of three things: which are date on which payment is recorded or payment is debited from the books of account of the recipient of services, and the 61st day or date immediately following 60 days, which means we will calculate from the next day of issuance of invoice by the supplier. And in case if it is not possible to determine the time of supply of services through above cases, it should be date of entry of service in the books of account. And in case of services received from an associated enterprise located outside India, time of supply will be date of recipient of payment or date of entry of the service in the books of account, whichever is earlier. And we have some of the important points under the note, that is vouchers exchangeable. The time of supply in case of services will be date of issuance of voucher if supply is identifiable, or date of redemption of voucher if supply is not identifiable, which is same as in case of goods. And the second point is, in case of residual cases, time of supply of services is same as time of supply of goods, which is date on which periodical return is filed or date on which GST is paid. And the third point is, in case of any addition in value by way of interest, late fee, penalty for delayed payment of consideration, the time of supply will be date on which supplier receives such addition in value. And next point is, payment received in excess up to 1000 rupees. Time of supply will be date in respect of such excess value is chosen by the supplier. And the last point, which is, in case of advance payment received, it is not like goods. In case of services, it would be taxable to the extent of the value which is covered by the invoice. So you remember that the advance payment is taxable in case of supply of services. Okay, let us discuss the second part or unit of this chapter, which is very simple and important, value of supply. This unit is divided into two parts, and the second part is discussed in the CA final. So only we discuss the first part of this unit, that is, value of supply is the transaction value and the inclusions and exclusions of such transaction value and discounts of such transaction value. The value of supply treated as a transaction value only if it satisfies the three conditions. They are supply of goods or services, and the second one is supply between unrelated persons, and the last one is price is the sole consideration for the supply. If it satisfies the three conditions, value of supply will be the transaction value. And let us discuss the inclusions in the value of supply. There are 6 types of inclusions there. First one is, any taxes, duties, cess, fees or any charges shall be included in the value other than GST and GST compensation cess. It will be charged separately. And TCS under the provisions of Income Tax Act would not be includable because it is an interim levy, so it is not a character of tax. And the second point is that amount paid by the recipient to the third parties on behalf of the supplier will be added to the value of supply, but this added only when the supplier is under contractual liability to make payment to third parties, and also payment is related to such supply. And the third one is incidental expenses, which are expenses incurred by the supplier in relation to the supply at the time or before delivery of goods must be added to the supply. These expenses like commission, packing, outward freight, transit insurance and installation expenses, etc. And also anything done by the supplier with respect to such supply before delivery shall be added. And the next one is, value of supply will be includable not only the base price but also charges for delayed payment like interest, late fee, penalty, etc. And the last one is, amount of subsidies which directly link to the price of goods or services are added to the value of supply. And if such subsidy received by way of donation or from state or central government is not added to the value of supply. And the last topic is exclusion of discounts from the value of supply. These discounts are divided into three parts. They are discounts given before or at the time of supply and also shown in the invoice of such discounts. And the second category is post discounts like cash discounts given for early payment, but these type of discounts are allowed only if satisfaction of two conditions. They are, an agreement of such discounts existed on or before supply and it is given by invoice wise. And the second condition is proportionate ITC taken by the buyer on the gross value of specified invoice is reversed by the recipient if one of the two conditions are not satisfied, such discounts are not given. And the last category is there are other certain types of discounts specified. They are buy more save more offers, which means if a person buy above 10,000 get 10% off and above 20,000 get 20% off, like this. These discounts are allowed only if it is shown in the invoice. And the next one is also same as the first one, but it is a periodic or year ending discounts or volume discounts, like 10% off on purchase of 1 lakh units in a year. These discounts are allowed only when satisfaction of two conditions given in the post supply discounts. They are an agreement existed at the time of supply and the proportionate ITC is reversed by the supplier. And the last one is secondary discounts. These discounts are not known at the time of supply or offered after the supply, and these discounts are not allowed, so we cannot exclude it from the value of supply. And I hope you understood this chapter, and please subscribe and like it.